You know, this is a landmark law. The first Violence Against Women Act was enacted in a way that has made a difference in women's lives. It has to continue to do that, Mr. President. But when we did the first bill, it provided new tools and resources to communities all around the country. We helped bring the crimes of rape and domestic violence out of the shadows. And the federal government stood with the women of this country. It sent the message that we'd no longer tolerate their treatment as second-class citizens. This bill renews and reinforces that commitment. And Senator Crapo and I have worked hard to make this bill bipartisan. I'm glad that it has more than 60 Senate co-sponsors. But it also has the support of 1,300 local, state, and national organizations from around the country that work with victims every day and know how critical this law has been. And I worry that there may still be senators who do not appreciate the role of the federal government in helping improve the lives of Americans. That is what the Violence Against Women Act is intended to do. It is what this law has successfully accomplished for nearly 20 years. And it's an example of how the federal government can help solve problems in cooperation with state and local communities. A fact we should not forget, Mr. President: women are safer today because of this law. And there's no excuse to not improve it and reauthorize it without delay. We're working to protect victims, all victims, of domestic and sexual violence. 3 out of 5 Native women have been assaulted by their spouses or intimate partners. We can't just stand idly by while this epidemic of abuse continues. The language in the bill is that which the Senate adopted last April. The best legal views of which I'm aware believe these provisions are both constructive and constitutional. We're building on the Tribal Law and Order Act and recognizing tribal authorities with respect to domestic violence in Indian country. No one should be able to get away with domestic violence and rape, not in any community, and certainly not because the victim is a Native American victim in Indian country. The bottom line is this: while we've made great strides in reducing domestic and sexual violence, there's more to be done. It's incumbent upon us to act now. The Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act has been carefully considered and debated for more than 2 years. It's time to vote. Send this bill to the House of Representatives so it can be enacted. And let us not undermine the provisions to help protect Indian women and other particularly vulnerable victims from the serious problems they face. So let's come together. Let's reauthorize this needed legislation in a bipartisan manner that represents the finest traditions of the Senate, because domestic and sexual violence knows no political party. I know when I went to these crime scenes in the middle of the night, we never asked whether the victim was Republican or Democrat, rich or poor, young and old, gay or straight, male or female. They always fit into just about any one of those categories. I have more I'll say later, but I see the distinguished Republican leader on the floor, and I would yield the floor so he can speak.